Alright, there we go. Hopefully everything's working fine. Let me boost up the audio a bit here because Soul Reaver 2 can sound a bit low in my normal volume levels. Okay. Yeah, sorry about taking a while to start there. I wanted to start a bit early. I mean, yeah, I set up everything and then I realized I didn't have my glasses, so I ended up hunting the whole of my house for where I put them. I'm still not used to wearing one of these, even though I've technically had to wear these for a very long time. I've been avoiding doing so for an equal amount of long time. But yeah, unfortunately, we're still on Soul Reaver 2. We're trying to do a recap before we begin Defiance. And my intention originally was to finish both Soul Reaver 1 and Soul Reaver 2 before the Defiance remaster came out. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the time for it. Even today, I wanted to start gaming a lot earlier and I'd start the stream a lot earlier in the evening over here. But I took the arduous task of making nachos for the family today. And that was an experience. Unfortunately, in case you're wondering how it turned out, it didn't turn out too well. Because I chose 3 types of chips, and one of the chips that I chose was very, very salty. Everything was perfect except that choice of one chip. And it was so salty, it kind of messed up everything else. Luckily, they didn't hold it against me too much. And despite the salt, they kind of downed it regardless. So, yeah. Because of that, I couldn't even stream it in the evening. But yeah, let's continue on with where we left off at Ushinheim, and hopefully I can finish Soul Reaver 2 tonight, because I already have Defiance being downloaded right now as we speak, the remaster, and maybe we can be in Defiance tomorrow. I'm excited to jump into the remaster because I'm hearing a lot of good things about people who played it. I know a lot of people are going after Resident Evil or waiting for Crimson Desert or whatever. But for me, personally, the game that's highest on my anticipation list is the Defiance remaster. And we are very quickly gonna run back to... I think there's a demon blocking the way here. No, it's just you gotta open the door again. Oh, come on, guys. Do we really need to do this?
Prepare to die.
The air reaver is pretty strong too. I'm gonna run back all the way to the swamp. Knock open the door for the other time chamber that Mobius so rudely closed for us. Well, not, it was already closed. It wasn't Mobius insofar as I'm aware. And we will knock it down and make our way to the past, so that we can finally meet Yano's Soul for another pretty long sequence, I think. Another Reaver here. Where am I supposed to go here? I actually cannot reach that. That is the way I need to go, though. Unless we go this way. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know it's probably a lot clearer for you guys on the stream, but for me, it's very, very dark. So I'm having some trouble actually navigating around here. This is a thing that happens with my video feed capture card, and I thought I fixed it, but apparently it's back again. Let me see if I can find the color settings again and adjust it so that I can actually see here. It might flicker for a bit for you all. And for me, is it the same? No, it's still a bit dark. I don't think much of this makes any of a difference. And hopefully adjusting this in the middle of the stream is not going to crash the stream itself. Because OBS can be a bit finicky with all this. Yeah, I don't think this is doing anything. Maybe it's the color range. Maybe I should limit it a bit instead of going for the full dark range itself.
Prepare to die.
Somebody's really angry at me, but no, it doesn't seem to do anything. Okay, we'll just leave it at full and hope for the best. Despite all the flickering here. It's very contrasting. I think someone's trying to attack me from down below, but... Oh, rather the hunters are fighting against the demons down there. Yeah, you all probably see the ledge here a bit more clearly. You can make out a defined shape of what's there. For me, this is pitch black, which makes it very difficult to navigate. Is this a problem with how my video monitor setup is done? Is that what's going on? Well, that's definitely a lot easier for me to see with, but now it's extremely bright for me. Well, a lot better, I guess. Yeah, so it was very much a case with of my monitor settings here. It's making it way brighter than necessary. Just go into settings, black stabilizer, picture adjust. Just bump up the contrast here. And maybe the brightness ever so slightly. Not any better, to be honest, but okay, maybe slightly better. Slightly. I think the chamber's right here. We can sort of glide right there. And when I usually game, I keep my monitor darkness pretty low, so yeah. Or do we have to deal with you first? Don't say I didn't warn you. I am equipped with my new Soul Reaver. And yeah, if you are not aware of what to do here, they're sort of teaching you everything of the Air Reaver. And in we go.
I had no choice but to act purely on blind faith. There was no way to tell what error this device was tuned to, and I had neither the knowledge nor the means to set the machine myself. I hesitated only briefly. Then, throwing the switch, I hurled myself into oblivion and relinquished my will to the hand of fate.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look around with the color settings that I have now. Why do I feel like my video is grayed out now? Okay. Is it because that's not possible, right? Default video format, and yeah, let's just put that back normal. Yeah, it's back to normal. It was a bit grayed out. Let me see if I can. Yeah, we need to fix this. Otherwise, it's gonna just Okay, that looks a lot better. Mode 2. It probably isn't showing anything on Neo all ends, because I'm messing directly with the monitor here to sort of just pump up the brightness ever so slightly so that it matches my video feed, and I can actually see when I'm running around. Okay, which I can now, thankfully. And with a little bit of luck, we are in the past now.
Beyond all hope and against all probability, it seemed that the device had unerringly delivered me to the era I sought. For these were Sarafan banners, and these vampires apparently the victims of their crusade. The coincidence seemed too convenient to naively ascribe to fate. But whether my opportune arrival had been orchestrated by Mobius or some other influence, I didn't know. If Janos Ordrin still lived, I would find him. But I was wary of further deception and resolved to tread carefully.
Yeah. The fact that Raziel is aware of that he could possibly be led here is interesting in itself. Like, despite knowing that it might be a trap, he still chooses to follow him through. And I can't blame him, to be honest. Right, as long as I have the Air Reaver, swamp isn't too much of an obstacle, now that I think about it. Let's do a quick save.
For all the butchery of Mobius's crusade, this massacre was somehow more chilling. The killing fields of the Sarafan betrayed a kind of orderly ruthlessness, the cold-blooded righteousness of the true believer.
The cold-blooded righteousness. The true believer. They actually updated the model for the frog too. Interesting. Remastered artist, whoever did the frog, a good job. I feel like that's the way I sort of need to go. Oh yeah. We need the Reaver to get up here. And we have a bit of peace before the demons pop up and start blocking our path.
By all that is holy!
Here at last, in the flesh, I beheld my former brothers in arms, the warrior priests of the Sarafan Order, their lives devoted solely to the annihilation of the vampire plague. And while I confess I felt a twinge of longing, a pang of grief for what I had believed was my lost virtue, I regarded them now with none of the reverence I formerly felt. For I had seen the human face of the vampires, and now I beheld the monstrousness of these men.
That's such an amazing line, right? The alteration, the alliteration there.
There's one.
The monstrousness of these men. Oh, we'll leave the men to run around as they need to. Except for maybe this person who's always shooting at us. Because our objective is still to try and find Yano's Ordrin. And we can kind of do that without engaging too much in all of the enemies around here. Except for the one guy who's guarding the gate. And I wish we had a little click or something to let us know that, hey, yeah, the gate's fully open. You can go now. So it's a bit of a weird scene where they focus on the stained glass there. You'd almost think you could break it with a force object or something, but that's not the case. Quick save here once more. Oh, the Seraphim were actually nice enough to wait for us outside. Oh, come on. I thought the door was open, so I was just ready to leave. Guessing it's stuck now? Okay. They were nice enough to wait for me there, too. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Okay, well. Calm down.
Free your soul, demon!
I am in a bit of a pickle here. That is indeed where I need to go. Ow. Knock it off. Wait, no, that is not where I need to go. Now remember this alcove being here and being very confused before too. This was where I needed to go. Oh. Okay, come on. Come on.
After my long journey, I finally stood on the threshold of enlightenment. For here was Janos Ordrin's mountain retreat, intact and unblemished. The upheaval that would one day topple this ancient edifice had not yet occurred. And while I had no certainty that Janos still lived, this scene boded well, for I presumed that the collapse of the retreat must have followed the ancient vampire's demise. There was only one obstacle: how to reach the balcony suspended at that maddening height, so far beyond my reach. For this was the architecture of winged creatures. The tattered ruins of my wings were of no use. I would need to devise some other means into that mountain.
I realized that the Soul Reaver 2 model actually has a bit of a pattern on the back that the updated model does not have. And Not entirely sure whether we can enter almost immediately by just going underground and using the spectral realm. Because I remember that you sort of had to do something with the various bonds over here. So I might not be entirely accurate on that front. Oh, you can actually enter here without messing with any of the fonts or anything. Oh, wait, no, you cannot. That's the reason why you needed... That's the reason why you needed the elemental charge. You needed to find a dark forge so that you can take the blood from the chalice. And in doing so, you'd open up the path to the Seraphan to follow Raziel in here and give them the opportunity to murder Janos. It's like I need the Air Reaver first. Can I just blast it without it? Nope, not enough power. Slight change to the texturing here, too. Of the letters in the chalice. Though again, I very much prefer the Soul Reaver 2 models over the remastered ones. I don't know, there's just something about the Soul Reaver 2 models that are a lot more expressive than the remastered ones. Like, I feel I can read their emotions a lot better with the older models. Yep. And we unwittingly opened the way for the Seraphan to enter here. And now I need to find a way to head to get that particular... Oh right, there's an area of font over there. Doesn't matter.
Return to hell!
I would rather not actually fight either of you, but not really giving much of a choice here.
That's him!
What do you mean that's him? Do you even know who I am? Or who Raziel is? You know, I'm glad the devs actually put a checkpoint right there in case and they knew definitely that the players were not going to be looking up and just gonna walk into that eyeball thing.
The mountain's interior was hollow, I discovered, and graced with soaring architecture unique to its creators. As with the outer facade, these balconies and galleries could only be reached by those gifted with flight. With only my ruined wings to carry me, this towering labyrinth seemed impassable, while the object of my quest lay just beyond my grasp. For here, suspended at the apex of the chamber, was the threshold that surely led to the great vampire himself. I didn't know whether Janos Ordran was the monster depicted in the stronghold, or one of the noble creatures memorialized among the ruins of the ancient vampires. And I didn't care. Demon or angel, he alone held the key to my destiny.
One of the more interesting sound effects here. A light reaver. There's a dark reaver point up there. You know, I'm not entirely sure. Well, they're probably intended for you to just float around the thing, right? And for this, we do indeed need the light reaver. There should be something here that we can shoot. Yep, there we go. So I need to go down and get the light reaver. There's a trophy for doing this area a bit quickly. And I remember failing that the first time I came here. Like, I looked up the trophy guide after I finished my first playthrough, and then I sort of despaired, knowing that I kind of have to speedrun this area. It's a bit of it's not a difficult puzzle, it's just very trial and error for me most of the time. The most reckless handling of a chalice you'll ever see. Just jumping about. Whether the contents of that chalice remains is questionable at best. Yeah, giving you a little shortcut in case you mess that up. So that you can quickly get on this level. And our next target is that chalice. And on the side, the Dark Reaver Eye. No, I'm very glad they keep the fights here at a minimum. At least until you accidentally, at least until the events after Janos. Another light reaver bridge right here. Oh, in my haste. I didn't even activate the shortcut. You know what? Let me just go up, grab the air reaver, drop down. Activate the shortcut, grab the light reaver, and then head back up. Each of the layers are constructed by a bit of a puzzle. I think you can get a shot over there for the light stuff to open up another path for you. Also, it is entirely possible to hit the targets above while you're on this level. I managed to do this. It's a bit finicky, but you can actually do it. Allows you a bit of avoiding going down a bit. Okay, that allows us to bring something up here. And this, if I recall correctly, will lead us to a Dark Reaver font. and another shortcut to get us even higher if we fall down below. Which will probably happen, considering that I don't quite remember where and how these puzzles work. I'll probably get myself killed by another eyeball or something at some point. In my haste to get through the area. So why is that guy just float? Oh, the eyeball actually killed him. Very interesting choice of ambiance in this area. I wouldn't exactly call it creepy either. Oh, hey, Diablo. Yes, I have actually gotten it in the background. I set it up to download before I started because I had a feeling, or rather, I have a feeling I can finish Soul Reaver 2 tonight. So yes, Defiance is ready and prepped. As soon as I finish Soul Reaver 2, I'll be jumping right in if I have time tonight. If not, I'll continue the stream tomorrow. Because I love this series, right? And I know more than a few other people who love these games. Might be a bit of an odd choice considering the many other games that are coming out these days. Like Resident Evil 9 and Crimson Desert, which a lot of people are also looking forward to, probably. I must admit, I missed the original release of Legacy of Kain, which started with Blood Omen. I still have not played Blood Omen 1. My first introduction to the series was with Soul Reaver 1, and it has remained to be one of my favorites ever since then. One of these days I'll go back to the original Blood Omen and actually finish it, but as is now, we're just sort of sticking to Soul Reaver 1, 2, Defiance, and Blood Omen 2. Now that one I did play, which was a bit of an interesting change, all things considered. I mean, if you are a Soul Reaver fan, you are in it for the stories. So that is a heavy recommendation from you. But yeah, I will get to it. I got both Defiance and Blood Omen 1 from GOG. I tried playing Defiance from the GOG version, but considering that I'm very much a console player, the GOG version doesn't really work too well with controllers, so I stopped playing, and I did not quite go back to it along with Blood Omen 1, but yes. If it's just, even if it's just for the story, I can deal with basic graphics. That's totally fine. I mean, I'm right now in the older graphics too, so. Right, I need to get the Air Reaver before I can continue on this path and drop the light river here as well. I think it's around this level. There you are. Wait, is this the wrong way? It is the wrong way. I saw the jar and thought that was the fount. Yeah, right now, you guys have caught me at the tail end of Soul Reaver 2. We are pretty much at the conclusion of the story, more or less. A few more segments to go. And Raziel very unwittingly opening up a path for the Sarafan Order to get to Janos here. Okay, first things first. Is it the right level? Is there a level more? I feel like I'm on the wrong side. Is it above me? Oh, it's above me, isn't it? Okay. The topmost puzzle will have one item that you sort of need to knock out. Yeah, there you go. With the Air Reaver. I know, right? The way Defiance ends, everyone's been waiting for a new release. I'm just happy they made that new side-scrolling game, even though I know the comic is a bit contentious among the fans. With the Layla and all. But we've been waiting for it for quite a while, and I think Kane put it best. The illusion of that one terrible thing. The illusion of hope. And I feel like each and every Soul Reaver or Legacy of Kain fan is sort of looking at these games being remastered and having that same feeling that, hey, yeah, they might be bringing the series back. That's what we're all hoping for. Bit of an odd angle here. Can I actually hit these two? Do I need to be... Oh, I need to be on the other side. That would be easier. Exactly, right? I feel like each and every one of us is waiting for that to happen. I'll be honest, when they mentioned Legacy of Kain in the recent State of Play, my heart skipped a beat. I was like, are they bringing a new game? And then it turned out to be only the Defiance remaster, which is okay, perfectly fine. But in that moment, I had one terrible moment where I thought, yeah, they're gonna give us a new game. Unfortunately, no. Oh, have you? If you care to recommend them to me, I'll be happy to check them out. I am very much a console player, so I am not as aware of mods or any of those extras that most people delve into. Okay, I think we opened up the path over there. Now we just need to get ourselves a jar or a chalice. I feel like there was one on this level. I'm not seeing it. Is it behind this door? It's a huge jump though. Oh, it is behind this door. I think a lot of fans are gonna get the Defiance Remastered just to try out that demo, although I think I've heard a lot of people say it's actually not worth getting the digital deluxe version because the demo is like only around 10 minutes or something. That it's sort of bait to get everyone to buy it, which is unfortunate, but I feel like you don't really need to dangle that in front of a lot of Legacy of Kain fans. Like, you guys bring us a remaster, we're very likely to play it regardless. Okay, hopefully there's no eye around here to zap me. Because I never see those until I'm zapped at the very end. And now we finally meet Janos. Perhaps the kindest character, although a bit one-viewed, a bit stringent on his views. Fixed on his views, not stringent. The one kind character in the Legacy of Kain series, insofar as we know.
Janos Audrin?
Raziel, my child,
It is
what have they done to you?
after all these years to hear my name spoken without contempt. Raziel? My child, what have they done to you?
I have been dragged through hell and back. All it seems to reach this moment. But I don't yet know why.
Oh, you sent a link? Let me take a quick look. Oh, right. Unfortunately, I think my chat is set up to block link, so I don't think I can see it. You're gonna have to drop me a DM. I'll happily take a look. Maybe after the stream, though, because we are almost reaching the end of Soul Reaver 2. And let me just say, the remaster models are really good, especially for Janos. I don't prefer the Soul Reaver 2 model remastered. I don't prefer these remastered models over the Soul Reaver 2 models. For some reason, I feel like the Soul Reaver 2 models are a lot more expressive, especially when it comes to characters like Kain and Mobius, right? But I can't deny they look good. And Janos himself actually looks really good.
For thousands of years I have waited, alone here,
compared to this.
losing faith. At the time of the binding, 9 guardians were called to serve the pillars, and I was summoned as the 10th guardian, the keeper of the Reaver, the weapon of our salvation. Over time, our race died out, until I alone remained, sustained only by my obligation to you and by my guardianship of the blade.
And the other 9? Why did their guardianship...
Like, here, right, I feel like if you compare this model with this, you can sort of tell Raziel's expression a lot better with the older models, and I feel like that's the case for a lot of Soul Reaver 2 characters. Like, it's more apparent because of their designs, just how much they're emoting.
not sustain them?
I don't know. As our race dwindled, the humans prospered. I have watched over the centuries as our history faded into myth and finally receded altogether. The humans have forgotten us entirely and claimed the pillars for themselves, wholly ignorant of their true purpose. To them, I am merely a devil, the origin of their vampire plague.
Why would the pillars summon human guardians then, if they are meant to be served by vampires?
The pillars choose their guardians from birth, Raziel, and vampires are no longer born. This is the crux of our dilemma, and this is the terrible irony. With their vampire purge, the members of the Circle have assaulted the very architects of the pillars they are sworn to protect.
Unreal 5 Soul Reaver on my team. Okay, sure. I will take a look at that, because I'll happily look at any Soul Reaver or Legacy of Kain stuff that people are making. It's unlikely I can run it on my potato PC, but I'll take a look at those.
They have embarked on a treacherous...
I'm sorry I keep pausing this for so much, but what I just wanted to say is the Legacy of Kain fan base has always been passionate. Like they somehow would carry the torch when we all thought that the series was more or less dead. So, so just being able to see people making stuff and being able to watch them, even if it's not playable, feels very good.
Path. With every vampire they kill, the humans are slitting their own throats. They know I'm up here, beyond their reach.
The irony, right, of Giano saying that the vampires are slitting their own throat, and then the camera slowly panning down to reveal the entrance that was created by Raziel. It's very easy to miss the fact that Raziel actually opened up the path for the Seraphim to follow. But this framing, it's so sinister when you play it more than once and you realize what's happening. And when he says that line and then it frames this.
And it terrifies them. You can see how they flaunt their kills to torment me. Or perhaps simply to lure me out. They have this foolish notion that destroying me will somehow topple our entire bloodline. Thankfully, we're not that fragile.
I have seen them mustering their forces in the village below.
Yes. I don't know what they're plotting, but I fear our time may be bitterly short.
Mankind seems to have brought you only torment and grief. You must hate them.
Unfortunately.
They fear what they don't understand, and they despise what they fear. But no, I do not hate them.
Vorador does.
He has suffered much. He cannot forgive them.
Should they be forgiven?
They don't understand what they're doing. They are simply unenlightened and vulnerable to manipulation.
So, it's all true then, what Cain and Vorador have told me. I really am some kind of unholy vampire messiah.
Unholy?
Holy. No.
Messiah?
Ah, yeah.
Perhaps.
I don't like that word. It smells of martyrdom.
Raziel, your role in this world's destiny is more crucial and more benevolent than you've allowed yourself to believe. Your journey will not be easy. Dark powers are allied against you. But I think you already know this. You appear to have been cruelly tested. The binding must be secured, Raziel. The pillars are the lock.
And the Reaver is the key.
Yes.
The Reaver is here. Why do I feel nothing?
The most formidable weapon ever forged by our swordsmiths. They
Oh yeah, definitely. One of the reasons why I feel like these games take up so much of the fan base's heart is because of the voice acting, right? Michael Bell as Raziel, Simon Templeman as Cain, Tony Jay as the Elder God, and even Richard Doyle as Mobius. They all bring it. And it's the reason why these lines are so memorable, even though I've only played Soul Reaver 2 like a total of 4 times. Soul Reaver 1 I played multiple times, but not 2 as much. And that game lives rent-free in my head. Yeah, Tony Jay is so good. It's unfortunate that he won't be reprising his role in any future games, but that he's such a legendary voice actor, right? I still remember his performance from Shere Khan and The Jungle Book 2 and from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Though I kind of wish I had a voice like that. That's so amazing, having it so low.
Use the blade with vampiric energy, empowering the Reaver to drain our enemies of their precious lifeblood.
As Janos presented the blade, an inexplicable sense of dread crept over me, more palpable than anything I'd felt before. I was at once horribly repelled by the sword, and yet irresistibly compelled to take it up. Please,
Yes.
take it away from me.
I fear you have been followed. You must save yourself, Raziel. Janos! No!
The reveal at the end of who actually murdered
My surroundings
Janos.
whirled sickeningly, and I found myself transported safely away from the ambush to an adjacent chamber. Janos had delivered me from the Sarafan, selflessly forfeiting his own safety to preserve my life. And now I feared that my newfound mentor would be slaughtered by the very crusaders I had so recently revered. The irony pierced me, and with dawning horror, I realized that I had been duped by Mobius from the beginning.
The Ouroboros eating itself.
Followed the path I gullibly blazed through this sanctuary, and had arrived bearing Mobius's staff. Thus armed, they had Janos at their mercy. Through the door, I could hear them battling, less than a dozen paces away. But it may as well have been 1,000 miles, for this barrier was sealed by elemental forces I did not possess. It seemed Janos had conveyed me into the heart of the fire shrine. I thought perhaps if I could galvanize the forge and imbue the Reaver in time, I might have a slim chance of saving Janos from his grisly fate.
Unfortunately, Raziel, I am the one controlling you, and I'm very bad at gliding, and this shrine has a lot of gliding. So a very odd choice for them to place a shrine right before such an important story scene. Like, it's such a break in between. I sort of understand why they're doing it, to emphasize the helplessness of the situation, but still. And I believe, yeah, there is a save point here. Indeed. It's essentially, I think it's pretty straightforward as long as you know where you need to go. It's just that it's kind of tricky to get there in time because it's also timed for everything. And you need to be using all of your elemental reavers here, more or less. Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah. This is exactly what I was worried about. Sometimes I just fail on getting that right where we need to. The jumps. And you feel terrible because you know that Janos is being beaten up by Raziel and the other Sarafan Brotherhood as we speak. Oh, I'm not I always slow down on the very last one. Yeah, if you're doing this in real time, Janos would already be dead. Oh, thank you, I appreciate your faith in you. I'll eventually get it. There we go. One down. Bluer than blue Yarnums is already... It's died and turning even more blue. Okay, now I believe we have to light up the crystal to bring the other forge here. Let's switch on all these phones first. Oh wait, never mind. They all come together at the same time. Yep, unfortunately, I'm on the wrong side because we need a torch. And I'm also wondering if you put down the torch. Yeah, the flame actually goes away. So I need to activate it, grab the torch, and then very quickly just run. Game, please. Oh, is it still activated? Okay, never mind. I thought it was timed. Thankfully, if it's timed, it's being very generous. This part, at least, is not as difficult. But then we have to get this torch all the way back to the fire shrine. This, I believe, is the tricky one. Oh, I hate the fact that the camera's changed over here. I am gliding into the water. Never mind. Yep. Once more. Somehow, you know, even though it's unforgiving, I feel like they set it up in the perfect way where you're sort of kicking yourself for failing just because you know that Janos is being attacked. There we go. We made it. Yeah, the urgency forces mishaps because you're trying to do it as quickly as possible too. Like, all things considered, this is the shortest shrine in terms of puzzles. Oh, this might be a bit loud. Let me lower that. Oh, I wouldn't call that well played. That was just luck at the end. I remember this one taking me a very long time back as a child, especially with how the camera controls were back then. And the Brazil statue in the background.
I plunged the Reaver into that furnace and forged the blade with elemental fire. With the Reaver thus imbued, I was now armed to unlock the elemental barrier and rescue Janos from his executioners.
But then you realize who those executioners were. Also a bit of an interesting choice for them to place the Fire Reaver, the only Reaver you can get in Soul Reaver 1, at the very end of Soul Reaver 2. Yep. Time to come face to face with his own demons again. Or as I like to call it with the remaster, the oily, like we're gonna go with the newer models, the oily Raziel. Unless they changed that recently.
Hold him!
Oh, I feel like they did change it, because I remember Raziel being like very shiny before. He still got that wide-eyed look though.
How it still beats.
Beats. That weird wide-eyed look. Yeah, they did change it. It's no longer oily.
The fiend intends to bury us alive. Raziel, we must get out of here.
Remember the sword!
Remember the sword.
Forgive me. I'm sorry. I failed you.
No, Razia. Perhaps this was my true purpose. Simply to save your life this once.
While I have taken yours.
Embrace your destiny, Raziel. You must reclaim the Reaver. It was forged for you and you
alone.
Without it, there is no hope.
Yeah, I think after being manipulated for so
As I
long.
backed away from Janos's body, I was overwhelmed by a sense of self-loathing so deep I could barely contain it. In that instant, I rejected all that I ever was, and embraced the role Janos had safeguarded for me so patiently throughout the centuries. I knew then what I had to do, the task for which I was uniquely prepared. I would pursue the Sarafan dogs to their loathsome fortress and avenge Janos Audrin's murder. Mobius would pay dearly for his treachery, and my Sarafan brethren would reap the horrors they had sown. I would retake the stolen Reaver, which was rightfully mine. And finally, when all these debts had been paid, I would reclaim Janos Audrin's heart from their filthy, unworthy hands. If the heart was truly imbued with the power to restore vampiric unlife, its highest purpose was clear to me. I would restore the heart to Janos, and thus undo the vile crime committed by my abominable former self.
Yeah, I feel like, eh, considering each and every character has been trying to manipulate Raziel, he meets one character that hasn't tried to manipulate him at all, and then somehow, that person ends up dying because of his own steps, and Raziel is completely devastated by it. How did the heart end up with Cain? I believe the heart is actually, it's never quite explained, but Mortanius eventually kind of finds it, and then he uses that heart to resurrect Cain in Blood Omen, right? That's my understanding of what happened and why Cain has the heart in Defiance when both Cain and Raziel face off. Like, he's not aware that it's actually the heart of darkness that's giving him the ability to bring back the vampires and his own immortality in a sense. But it's never shown in any game whether Mortanius got dead. Yes, you just don't see it happen.
We've been expecting you, little Raziel.
So, these demonic pests were not merely the product of Nosgoth's corrupted future, for here they were, hurtling back over 5 centuries to pursue me. These creatures, I suspected, were minions of the unseen forces that had hoped to control me. This was the tangible expression of their displeasure. These demons were unleashed as the penalty for my disobedience.
Well, the remastered models look so good for these guys. And yeah, at this point it's just a gauntlet of enemies, and I can't say I'm a fan of this. And they block off all your routes as you proceed, so you kind of need to fight them regardless. Yep. Crucible style endless enemies. One last gauntlet before you head in to finish the story. And they'll even talk with Raziel each time. Well, not each time, but more or less.
Do you really think you can save Nosgoth? Let me enlighten you, poor Raziel.
You know, I never quite understood whether these guys were Hilden or just entities sent by the Elder God or against Raziel for messing things up. No one really knows? Okay. Because they do have a bit of green to them, which makes you think that, hey, they might be Hilden as well. Because green has very much traditionally been associated with Hilden, after all. A bit of an ironic color for me, because green, as you can imagine from my avatar, is my favorite color. Yeah, the Hilden were banished to the demon realm. And of course, everyone's favorite enemy right here, the infernal demons.
Free your soul, demon!
The Seraphim aren't even bothering to fight the giant demon. They're way more focused on Raziel. Now, you guys can take a break. I'm just gonna save here. But even in Blood Omen 2, well, in Blood Omen 2, the Hilden were also possessing humans. But by the end, they had a very demonic look, so... Do I need to defeat the guy over there? Or can I just run to the very end? I feel like I need to. Otherwise the way is blocked. The Infernal Demon is actually attacking the Seraphim, and they're still following Raziel. And I know you're meant to lock on here, but to be honest, if you lock on, I feel like the game gets a lot harder. Oh, I loved Blood Omen 2 as well, because I think that's the first time I actually played a game with Kain in it as well. And it was a very different experience from playing as Raziel, right? Just having his own set of abilities, his own way of getting his health back. It was fun. But I can sort of see why it's a bit contentious, right? Because it recanonizes a lot of stuff with the alteration of the timeline and everything. Also, Kain being just not as careful as a character he is in the Soul Reaver games, I don't think went over particularly well with a lot of people either. Because when you think of Kain, you think of conniving and crafty and all that. Oh, is there another infernal demon around here? Yeah, there. Whoa. Just gonna have to do hit and runs now. Wait, where's the other one? He's way over there, stuck in the flag. Oh, that's bad. Now the Fire Reaver is extremely strong. I don't recall ever being able to kill those demons in 3 hits. Do you mean the character models for the demons? I felt like they did a pretty good job. Compared to this and this. Okay, maybe not too much for the infernal demons. It's even weirder that they know his name. Okay, I'm been sent into the spectral realm here. I'll recover because they can actually follow you here. Oh, you guys are tanky too. What is happening? What? There isn't even a point for me to change back here. I guess I need to deal with you. Oh, okay, there we go. For some reason, the demon kept missing me. There really isn't a point for me to... I guess I do need to defeat him in the Spectral Realm. Which is unfortunate, because it's going to take a lot more hits. Okay. That turned out to be a lot easier than I was expecting. Yeah, the characters... It definitely, not only in the models itself, but just the dialogue itself. It wasn't as Shakespearean as the others. Mainly because the plot was a lot more straightforward too. Well, there are people manipulating each other. It was a lot less convoluted than in the Soul Reaver games, that's for sure. That was an interesting choice, right? Yeah, now that they're bringing a Lilith back, a lot of people are like, okay, you guys are bringing a Lilith back, but instead of that, we'd rather have Uma. Personally, I'm a bit ambivalent on both the characters. I feel like if Uma had lived at the end, we'd get a very different Kain, so maybe. Because from all indication, it seemed like Uma would be someone that Cain would have trusted if he didn't pull what she pulled at the very end. And I felt like that would have led to an entirely... Wait, I'm going the wrong way, am I? Yeah, I am going the wrong way. That would have led to a very different Cain from the one we know now. And they probably just wanted to preserve the bastard of a Cain that he already is. And to be fair to Cain, at least his older one, whether he realized it or not, he sort of made a pretty good choice, all things considered, even if it leads to all this trouble. Even more infernal demons. And here I am.
Not pass.
Okay, Balrog moment right there. Let me very quickly grab the light Reaver over here so we don't have the default Reaver. Not gonna help us inside that swamp though. Just gonna have to tank all the hits. Not the fire breath. Oh, Light Reaver did pretty well there too. Beats Oblivion. Right. We have to get through here too. This is one of those areas in Soul Reaver 2 that I just end up getting lost. I think we need the Air Reaver to actually make our way through the entire cabin. That's if you want to go back. It's a bit easier to deal with when you're swimming, because the basic idea is to just follow the crystals. Not so much when you're walking, and your field of view is very much plastered onto Raziel's back. Where is that Air Reaver font anyway? Is it outside in the big clearing? It's outside, isn't it? I am not dealing with any of you. You all can remain zapping here inside the water. We are hurrying to our next objective. A Lightning Reaver. Well, they definitely had the chance for it, but now I feel like we kind of lost it. Or a Cain Reaver, as like they were originally planning, the red one that we kind of see at the end of Soul Reaver 1 as well. And one last confrontation with the Elder God as we run through this area. Lightning and water, I feel like are, well, maybe not lightning directly, but sunlight, right? Because we had the sunlight glyph and the water glyph in Soul Reaver 1. So maybe they were considering it, but then they kind of changed it to the spirit one with Ariel and Cain. And our old benefactor here, waiting for our return into the chamber. PS1 ran out of memory. Well,
Failed me,
you were
Raziel.
not wrong there.
I wonder, Old One, did you truly resurrect me, or were you simply there when I awakened from my torment in the abyss? I suspect you found me merely convenient, dropped in your lair by Cain, indestructible for some reason, a durable and gullible tool for you to manipulate. This one thing I readily admit. I have been used by others time and again, but always I seem to stray from their path. What is it about me, demon, that makes me such an unreliable instrument? Why do I survive one trial after another, on and on, in an endless succession of humiliating deaths and resurrections? It's...
So I'm starting to realize that because we're in the past, the Elder God actually has only one eye. I didn't make the connection before. Like, I played this game multiple times and I don't think I've noticed that before. He's in the past, so he's smaller and he has only one eye. One large eye,
There's
anyway.
much more to my destiny and my history than I know. Perhaps more than you know as well.
And surprisingly, the Elder God does not retort to that. Though he kind of gets his last laugh at the end. Because Raziel ends up getting stuck with him until we start Defiance. He gets stuck for so long that he ends up in the future. It's also one of those things that I don't quite understand with the spectral realm, right? Time does not seem to flow in the spectral realm, but when you are stuck there for ages, you actually end up decades and centuries in there. Can I open the door without fighting any of you? And one of my most favorite sound effects in the Soul Reaver games. It's just, it's always funny to me. Like, they got someone to just go like making creepy ghost sounds to open the door. That was definitely a choice. No iPhone, or any sort of entertainment for that matter. Raziel probably had very long talks, very long sessions with the Elder God, and I don't think they proved fruitful at the end. One last infernal demon, I believe. No, no, not one last.
To change his destiny. Wow.
3 of them. Yeah, I remember dying to this point quite a bit. Because the other 2 will keep shooting at you. And we need to wait for the Reaver to cool down for a bit. Oh wow, just barely. I have a smidgen of health left. Okay, you know what? Let's do a quick refresher for our health here. Go into the spectral realm, grab all the souls, and just come back out. And no Ariel this time to give us a hint on where to go. Yeah, that particular fight, I believe, is a bit notorious, just because it's 3 of the demons. I might have gotten very lucky there to have survived with that smidgen of a health.
Get him.
Also, if you're wondering why the speech or the voices sound a lot higher than everything else, it is because I do have it set a lot higher. You can kill them slowly with your key. Yeah, that is true. But I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever considered it. It is a safer option, but not the faster one. Am I going the right way? Yeah, this is the right way.
There's one.
Guard me, brothers.
I'll be kind of honest, between Soul Reaver 1 and Soul Reaver 2, I prefer the audio, the music from Soul Reaver 1. Soul Reaver 2 doesn't quite hit the same notes as 1 for me. Like, even Defiance is a bit better than 2, I feel. Well, we're not going to be doing the cheese method here. And one time I will eventually regret it for not doing it, because I will die to these infernal demons at some point or the other. Right, we need to get a Fire Reaver too. I'd completely forgotten that the lake freeze is over. I hated those demons when I was younger. I was not terrified of them. Like, I played Soul Reaver 1 when I was very young, and I'll be honest, Mikh'a and Duma, and just the general ambience and the audio of the game terrified me, right? Even now, as an adult, whenever I replay the section with Mikh'a, I'm filled by an inexplicable dread when I get there. I know I shouldn't be scared or anything, but I still have this sense of terror that I can't quite explain. Same for Duma, because he just follows you everywhere. But with Soul Reaver 2, I never felt that way, because it's all a lot more brighter and a slightly more generic than the designs in Soul Reaver 1. Now they're still shooting me. All right, do I have to activate the mechanism as well? I do. Oh wait, no, you did not hit the mech. All right, I need the Light Reaver. Tyrell to Defiance. Tyrell, yeah, okay, fair enough. Tyrell, I think part of the reason I'm not as scared of Tyrell is because Tyrell sort of is a hybrid between the Hilden that's trying to control him and himself.
Free your soul, demon.
So he just comes out as a bit odd compared to the other brothers, right? Like meeting Mikh'a for the first time was definitely a moment for me. And then just the general audio of that whole area. They did such a good job with... Oh, ow. No, what? Okay, you guys are starting to annoy me.
Guard me, brothers.
And I might as well get a little health refresh here before we go inside. Asha Geek.
Guard me, brothers.
Right. Discovering that Tyrell could have potentially been in Soul Reaver 1 was also kind of interesting for me. Like with the remaster, they had those bonus levels, and then I think someone also recreated Tyrell's whole PS1 instance on YouTube, and I watched it. And they kind of put the same mechanics in there, which was kind of surprising.
There's one.
But honestly, the Tyrell we have now is a lot more interesting just because of his connection to the Hilden. And then you meeting Mortanius there, that was unexpected too. As mentioned before, I haven't played Blood Omen 1, but I did check a story recap, so very unexpected. It would have been a lot more fun if they included the characters from Blood Omen 1 a lot more. Right, we're almost at the end now.
Seize him!
Just a lot of Sarafan battles.
Turn to hell.
Suddenly and inexplicably, I discovered the Reaver suspiciously laid across my path. Again, I sensed nothing of that temporal distortion, the peculiar sense of displacement I had felt when I encountered the Reaver in William's chapel. Cornered here with the blade, I suffered the same nameless dread that I had experienced when Janos first presented the Reaver to me. I felt at once repelled by the blade, and yet overwhelmingly compelled to seize it.
So, Raziel, here we are, finally. You have no choice but to confront me now, and I am not so foolish as I've let you believe. We have business to conclude.
You knew I would lead the Sarafan to Janos, you vile bastard. You've been orchestrating my every move. My destiny is an amusement to you.
It was fun while it lasted. I think not, Raziel. Malik, do not let this creature leave. He poses a danger to the Circle. Poor, deluded Raziel. Did you somehow imagine you had the guile to...
So this is what I meant before, right? Compared to this model from Mobius, his expression is a lot more visceral with the Soul Reaver 2 models. And yeah, Malik, and you kind of hear Vorador in the background too, coming after them.
change history on me? I'm the time streamer. I knew your every intention before you did, you imbecile.
The opening of Blood Omen happening right now.
The Circle is under
Hold
attack.
fast, Malik. This one is the real danger to us.
What are you trying to concoct here, Mobius?
You toxic creature. Did you imagine I'd simply allow you to run loose, corrupting everything you encounter?
I admit that I've underestimated you to this point, Mobius. But it's a mistake I won't repeat.
Wrong again, Raziel. Now, Malik, bolt the door.
Using his staff to disable my Wraithblade, Mobius effectively disarmed me, leaving me with only one choice of weapon. And yet I confess, it was not the lack of options, but blind rage that made me take up the Reaver. In my fury, it felt as though my hand had acted of its own will. And now, that same hand clutched the hilt with unyielding strength, and I felt a constrained tingling, a remote but palpable sense of longing, as the disabled Wraithblade tried vainly to embrace its physical twin.
Yeah, it's also kind of funny, right? Because my understanding is that Malik is a threat in Blood Omen 1, right? And then you get the Reaver here, and Raziel is effectively just unkillable. Also a bit of whiplash here. Going through the brothers again.
Demon. Back to hell with you!
I recognize these two as my former brethren, in life as Sarafan, and in unlife as Cain's vampire sons. Mikha and Zephon, the weakest of Cain's brood. These bastards had no idea what future lay in store for them, how they would become the very thing they so despised. The Reaver hummed with ravenous anticipation.
Oh, no worries, Diablo. Thank you for joining the stream as well. I had a lot of fun talking to you all. It's always fun talking to people who are fans of the Legacy of Kain. And we are almost done with Soul Reaver 2, so no worries. Wherever you're going, take care and stay safe, especially these days, right? I'll probably be streaming Defiance in the coming days to go, so drop by whenever you have a chance. And take care. I'll also be taking a bit of a break in a bit as soon as we're done with Soul Reaver 2 to get some water and probably start Defiance after I change the stream. Yep. Again, thanks for joining by. It is always fun to chat with people who like the same games I do. Take care. And now, let me go back to finishing off my, or rather Raziel's Wayward Brothers. One thing I wanted to say here was that in Soul Reaver 1, Raziel is, even though he does kill his brothers, he's a bit unhappy about the whole thing. He complains to the Elder God about committing fratricide and everything, but here he's very determined. It's almost like a flip. A lot of situations I notice when you compare it to Soul Reaver 1 and Soul Reaver 2 like are flipped on its head. Because in Soul Reaver 1 there was also that scene where Raziel holds up his hand while Cain has the Reaver, and then in Soul Reaver 2 you have a similar scene with Raziel having the Reaver and Cain holding up his hand, but he doesn't actually strike Cain. And it's a beautiful reversal of everything, which is why I think everyone loves the story in these games, right?
Janos had called it a vampiric blade, endowed with the power to drain its victims of their lifeblood. I was eager to see what the Reaver would do to these two.
Yeah, he's so angry, he's more than ready to just take these guys out. And to be fair, they're a lot more aggressive than any of the other Sarafan enemies you're gonna meet. It's still a lot easier to just poke and run. Yeah, it's still a lot easier to just poke and run. I swear they are a lot more defensive if you lock on, but if you're running around, they're less likely to block. We got in a strong attack there. Now that's an animation we're going to be seeing in Defiance a lot. And that, I believe, is Cain's way of, the way he pokes it into the enemy is Cain's way of increasing the power of the Reaver. They strike so fast too, right? They can attack you a lot more faster than you can attack them. Not sure which one this is, whether it's Zephon or Mikha, but they are very defensive. I'm tempted to lock on, but I feel like if I do that, it's a lot more difficult. Oh, never mind. They were at death's door.
As Mikha and Zephon fell before my blade, I felt the Reaver's bloodthirst as keenly as I ever had when I was still a vampire. I could sense the boundary between us dissolving. The Reaver was consumed with my rage, and I was intoxicated by its bloodlust. The blade had a vitalizing effect on me. My physical energy no longer decayed over time, and the wounds inflicted by my foes healed almost instantly. The Reaver had made me invincible.
Like, the way Michael Bell does that particular line is great as well. Like when he says intoxication, he says it like a slightly whispery way. It's such great voice acting. And our next set here, which I believe is Rahab and Duma, I think. Or is it Tyrell?
Have you
Tyrell
come
is
to reclaim the monsters?
the final, right? Tyrell and Duma are final.
You'll have to get through us first.
My former brethren, Duma and Rahab,
Oh,
confronted me
Duma and
next.
Rahab, yeah.
This all seemed so elegantly choreographed. Exhilarated by the Reaver, I was drunk with revelations. I could finally appreciate the delicious irony of Cain's blasphemous private joke, and I reveled as I colluded with him across the centuries. For it was I who put these bastards in their tomb, thus providing the corpses for Cain to raise as his vampire sons a millennium from now.
Yeah, the beautiful irony and all that. It would be fun to go back to Defiance's combat after this. They block so much, right? The AI just blocking all over the place. Like, the advantage that Raziel has is so little compared to the advantage these guys have. They're so quick. And then we'll have one final set of brothers here. Tyrell.
Get back to the pit you crawled from, demon.
And here at last was my brother Tyrell, who along with Duma would bear me into the abyss without questioning Cain's command. So dutiful and righteous, even as a vampire. I guess some habits die hard. The vampire Tyrell had eluded my vengeance. The Sarafan Tyrell would not.
But not. Yeah, Michael Bell just emphasizing just how lost Raziel is with everything. And just how intoxicated he is by the Reaver's bloodthirst. Tyrell is a lot easier because there's only him, and as long as you attack from the back, you can get in a solid few hits. Right. We can't go into the chapel. There's only one way we can go. And that's towards Raziel.
So, vampire, here we are. You've destroyed my brethren, and now you've come for me.
Yeah, he's definitely looking, well, a lot better than his PS2 model. But, and less specular, because I remember playing this on release, and he was very glowy, to say the least.
You'll find I'm not such easy prey. I don't want to kill you, but I will if I must. Return the heart to me, and we can end this now. So, you've come to avenge that filthy parasite and reclaim his foul heart. You're a righteous fiend, aren't you?
Apparently I am. The irony in that particular
This is where it
line.
ends, but you won't be leaving
And also the Ouroboros on the floor.
this room. Now, let's finish this. I'll make it mercifully quick. As you did for Janos? No, that beast had eluded us for far too long. It would have been a shame to end him too quickly. It's ironic, really. The great Janos Ordrin turned out to be no challenge at all. Thanks to you. Did you hear his cowardly screams when I tore that black heart out of his carcass?
And Raziel is a lot faster than any other. He still has the same weaknesses. Because as soon as you get a good... Oh, he recovered. No, he recovers actually a lot more quickly. Yeah, you can't do the back track trick on Raziel. He's tanky too.
The Reaver exerted some mysterious power over me. It sustained my energy, enabling me to prolong my physical manifestation indefinitely. In fact, bonded to the blade as I was, I could no longer shift into the spirit realm at will. Nor was I able to summon the Reaver's twin, for my Wraith Blade had been disabled in the confrontation with Mobius.
Interesting. I never knew that line was even there all this time. I don't think I've ever tried to enter the spectral realm in this game when I got the Reaver. Also, I'm sure you realize this, Calyx, right? That is human Raziel right there. Raziel is responsible for killing the human Raziel. And you caught me at the very tail end of Soul Reaver 2 because this is the final scene right here, right? I'll probably take a break to get some water, and then we're going to continue writing the third game, which I've downloaded and ready. The remastered version of Defiance right here. Yeah. There's just something about the AI in Soul Reaver 2 that's they're extremely quick with their attacks, right? Even if you press attack, they will hit you first. And Raziel is equally the most annoying enemy in the game, which makes sense since he's the final boss and all. And I have a feeling that if you lock on, they are a lot more willing to block as opposed to you just running around and poking them, right? The hit and run tactic works a lot better. He also has an unnatural amount of health. There's a beautiful irony in all of this, right? In case you don't realize, Raziel is sort of the whole reason why each and everything is happening. He is the one that leads Sarafan Raziel, like opens up the path for Sarafan Raziel to get rid of his mentor, the kindest character in the Legacy of Kain series, Janos. Like, he meets him for only a few minutes before he's cruelly tossed away by Janos to save him. And he has to run back to the place, and by the time he reaches there, this Raziel tears out the heart of his mentor, which is what you see at the start of Soul Reaver 2, right? You get that little mural talking about Janos. And the fun part is, at the start of Soul Reaver 2, he's very angry at Kain for giving him life as a vampire because he was a Sarafan priest before. But by the end of Soul Reaver 2, he recognizes that the Sarafan have their own agenda and that they're not so virtuous and righteous. You were supposed to bring balance. Well, the Chosen One is very much Kain, as we will see in a lot of ways.
I
renounce you. The human Raziel is choking on the Reaver.
And so it ends. My history comes full circle.
The Ouroboros on the ground, emphasizing it all.
Sensing its twin, the Wraithblade uncoiled.
So, we talked about this before, but certain conditions have to be met for the time stream to be changed in the Soul Reaver or the Legacy of Kain games. And it's at this point, it's really explained why Raziel is capable of doing that. It's because it's his soul that's actually been stuck inside the Reaver all this time. And because no same soul can exist at one point in the timeline, it creates a paradox allowing time to be changed. And this is that momentous occasion where he sort of realizes why it happens.
Coiled itself from me, and instead wound lovingly around its former self. I felt its grip loosen, and as the blade left me, its absence chilled.
You mean the human Raziel? I don't think so. He has that particular animation. Unlike the other enemies where you do chop off their heads and limbs, with human Raziel, that's not the case.
Me more than its presence ever had. A foreboding sense of emptiness and loss stole over me. And
the player Raziel. Nope. The model does not change at all.
Terrible revelation gathered like a storm at the edge of my awareness. With all other foes exhausted, the conjoined blades turned themselves on me, and I realized, finally, why I had sensed nothing when Janos offered me the blade. The Reaver was never forged to be a soul-stealing weapon. The ravenous, soul-devouring entity trapped in the blade.
Lower bites, yes, it can be done. But it also is sort of circumvented a bit because Raziel actually borrows bodies, especially in the third game, because the Elder God is like, no way I'm helping you go back to the physical world. So he sort of borrows bodies and reshapes them into his image in a sense.
Was, and always had been, me. This is why the blade was destroyed.
Insofar as I know, he's
me down.
Not capable of that.
The Reaver could not devour its own soul. The paradox shattered the blade. So, this was my terrible destiny. to play out this purgatorial cycle for all eternity. I could not bear it. Despair overwhelmed me.
Is this your?
Are you enjoying this game?
Fight it, Raziel.
Don't fight it,
Oh,
Raziel.
rather, don't fight it. Not fight it.
Give into it. Was this your destiny for me all along?
That's such a good voice acting right there.
I felt myself weakening, unable to hold on any longer. The Reaver was too strong. The compulsion to simply let go, too great. And then, a growing sense of vertigo and the familiar displacement. The paradoxical moment when my twin soul hovered both outside and inside the Reaver blade. This was the instant. The glimmer of temporal distortion Cain had been counting on all along. This was the edge of the coin, the minute flicker of probability upon which Cain had gambled everything.
Well, to be fair, the Reaver is Raziel. How it works is that at this point in time in the past, Raziel's own soul is sort of sucked into the Reaver, and he is basically confined into the Reaver, or at least that version of him is confined into the Reaver ever since that point. So the reason why he's able to cause a temporal paradox is because both his older soul and his own soul, like two souls of Raziel, are meeting together. So it's Raziel who's the main character.
Now you are free to reclaim your true destiny, Raziel.
Behind Cain's eyes, I could see new memories blooming and dying as history labored to reshuffle itself around this monumental obstruction. And I could see by the dawning horror on his face that perhaps we had strained history too far this time. That by trying to alter my fate, he may have introduced a fatal paradox.
My God.
I healed him.
Children. We walked right into their trap.
PS1 and PS5
Raziel. Janos must
stay dead.
But Cain's warning was lost as I slipped into the spirit realm, too weak to maintain my physical form. And there, waiting for me as always, was the Reaver, the Wraithblade, my own soul, twinned and bound eternally to me. And I realized that I could never escape my terrible destiny. I had merely postponed it. History abhors a paradox.
History abhors a paradox, and that's the end of Soul Reaver 2. Yeah, we managed to get through Soul Reaver 1 and Soul Reaver 2, and now we'll probably move on to Defiance. I'll take a moment to get some water before we start, right? And we have some bonus content too if you all want to take a look. Right, some of their voice outtakes.
I see my reputation precedes me.
It does.
All good, I hope. I've been watching you since you emerged from that accursed stronghold. Strange that your arrival coincides with the corruption of the Pillars. But I'm wondering, are you the catalyst of these events? Or are you the answer to them? I distrust your origins, stranger. Seeing you crawl.
Oh yeah, bot commands for the hydrate one, right? Okay, you know what? Let me put that on a notepad so that I actually remember, because I will never remember otherwise. Hydrate, bot command. There we go. Uh, yeah, I'm not sure if a lot of you know, but the Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered actually includes a lot of fan content as well. And some of these includes cut levels from Soul Reaver 1. Like, Soul Reaver 1 originally had a lot of forges as well, including the Spirit Forge. You can't do too much in these areas, and you're playing essentially as the PS1 models too. Essentially nothing you can do, but it is nice that you can sort of run around in these levels which were very much lost. Like, one of the places I like the best is the Undercity and the Priestess boss room. Because if you play Soul Reaver 1 right now, you can get to this room. And there'll be a health upgrade here. Originally, what you were meant to discover here was that there was a human priestess. And the cutscene trigger is sort of there. He should be looking up at the priestess and being like, "What are you doing here?" or something. And he discovers that there's the priestess is here. No actual triggers for themselves though. Yeah, this character, I accidentally killed you. That was not what I intended to do, but okay. But yeah, these are all little bonuses that if you're a fan of Soul Reaver 2, or any of the Legacy of Kain series, you're gonna see it. And here's the cut content for Tyrell. You meet Tyrell in Defiance now, one of the final brothers here. And originally, I think you were supposed to fight him in this room, and what you had to do was knock down these pillars so that the sluice from up there, the water sluice, would fall on him and kill him. But now we meet Tyrell in Defiance. But I'm gonna quit game. I'm gonna quit out from the remaster itself. We'll open up Defiance, and I'm gonna go get some water because I just want to see what's happening here. This game supports Power Saber. That's not a notification I've ever seen before. It's a very short terms and services. So let me very quickly turn down the sound to 50%. The music has to be 100, right? You have graphic mode? Oh, right. Gotta invert the camera controls for me. Right, before I begin then, let me take a quick break. Probably grab myself a snack and I will be right back. We won't be going for too long because once again, work is there tomorrow. But I'll play a bit here. You just have to, right? And in the meantime, I'll also change the Twitch title so that it better matches the fact that we are starting Defiance. Be right back. The music's actually pretty loud. Let me lower that ever so slightly. And yeah, got myself a little snack. Got a little drink here and some water. And now we can begin the final chapter so far of the Legacy of Kain series. I'm curious to see what they have in the bonus material. Original opening movie, The History of Nosgoth. Training room. The History of Nosgoth. Oh. In the centuries before Kain's birth, the land was protected by an oligarchy of sorcerers known as the Circle of Nine. These guardians were sworn to serve and protect the pillars of Nosgoth, the ancient edifice towering over the earth as manifestations of the mysterious power that preserved and gave life to the land. But the circle was infiltrated by dark forces, and Ariel, the Balance Guardian, was cruelly murdered. This is a recap of Blood Omen, right? Because Blood Omen sort of begins at this point. Her assassination sent psychic shockwaves throughout the circle, and in their derangement, the remaining sorcerers turned their powers to dark purposes. Once Ariel was killed, all of the Guardians are linked psychically by one of the other Guardians known as Nupraptor, and Nupraptor is the lover of Ariel, and once Ariel is killed, Nupraptor kind of goes mad and infects that madness with all the other sorcerers of the circle, poisoning the land with their sorcery and abandoning the pillars to stand like silent, decaying sentries. Into this dying world, Kain was born. Wow, a very handsome-looking Kain right here. The son of an aristocratic Nosgoth family, he lived the privileged life of a nobleman, never realizing his undiscovered destiny. You could actually view it up close. That he was marked from birth as Ariel's successor, fated to take her place as the Guardian of Balance. Ignorant of his destiny, the ambitious but directionless Kain roamed the land. During one fateful journey, he was ambushed by brigands and murdered, cruelly impaled on his assassin's sword. Yeah, these are just the events of Blood Omen right here. Plucked from the blink of oblivion by the necromancer Mortanius, Kain awakened in the underworld, still transfixed by his enemy's blade. Did they make these new drawings just for this? I don't think I've seen these. Tormented by his hunger for vengeance and heedless of the spiritual cost, Kain recklessly accepted the necromancer's offer of revenge, and rose from his tomb to discover that he had been resurrected as a vampire. Oh, right. Speaking of forgetting, since I always forget, let me very quickly change the Twitch title here and the category, since we are on the wrong one at the moment. It's the Defiance remaster. Interestingly enough, I don't think it has. You know, is it in? Oh, I wonder if this is not around. Because I see the Soul Reaver remastered one. Oh wait, there we go. Defiance remastered. Done. And let me do it over here as well. Assuming I can actually change it. Ah, there we go. Interesting. Okay, you know what? Let's just keep it that way. And now let's do the recap before we actually begin. Not that I kind of need this, but it is nice to see these updated visuals. Oh, interesting. I feel like this was one of the locations that was shown in the demo with the giant skull and all. Cain quickly tracked down his assassins and exacted his bloody revenge. With his vengeance and hunger sated, he sought only a cure for the vampiric curse that afflicted him. Guided by Mortanius and the Spectre Ariel, now bound helplessly to the decaying pillars she once served, Cain hunted down each of the corrupt sorcerers now poisoning Nosgoth. Only with their deads could the pillars be healed, and only by restoring balance would Cain be released from his vampiric curse. At first reluctant to live the horror of an existence blighted by a thirst for human blood, Malik and Morador having at it, Cain soon adapted and discovers within his darkened soul a growing dissatisfaction for humankind as he embraced his newfound immortality. During his journey, Cain discovered and claimed the Soul Reaver, an ancient soul-devouring blade, and stumbled across, not so coincidentally, a time-streaming device created by Mobius, the Guardian of Time. Against the counsel of the ancient vampire Wardor, Cain found himself embroiled in human events, caught in a bloody battle between Otmar's army of hope and the ruthlessly advancing armies of the Nemesis from the north. As the tide of battle turned, Cain used his only means of escape, the time-streaming device, which swept him nearly 50 years back into Nosgoth's past. Hoping to alter the course of Nosgoth's history, Cain assassinated the young King William the Just, who would become the diabolic tyrant known as the Nemesis. After sating himself on his victim's blood, Cain returned to the present, only to discover that his murder of the beloved king had ignited a genocidal war against vampires, led by the time streamer Mobius himself. Upon his return, Cain witnessed the future that he had wrought, and the final, triumphant act of Mobius's cold-blooded mob. Morador, the last of the era's vampires, was guillotined and his head held aloft for a cheering, bloodthirsty crowd, leaving Cain, the sole surviving vampire, in Nosgoth. As his quest brought him full circle, Cain confronted the destiny that Mortanius and Ariel had hidden from him. What a drawing of Ariel there. That he was the Balance Guardian, and that only by sacrificing himself could he restore the pillars. Ariel presented him with one final climactic decision: sacrifice himself to steal the land, but ensure the extinction of the vampires, or refuse to sacrifice and seal the world's corruption. Revolted by the machinations of the human sorcerers and alienated from his former humanity, Cain chose the latter path, opting to rule the world in its damnation rather than commit himself to oblivion. This apocalyptic act completed the pillar's destruction. The mighty columns toppled as Cain sealed their ruinous fate and damned Ariel to ceaselessly haunt the dilapidated pillars she once served. Until the balance is restored, she can never be released. Cain concluded with the epiphany that Warjo was right, that vampirism is not a curse but a blessing, that vampires are dark gods whose duty it is to thin the human herd. With intentional irony, Cain established the ruined pillars as the symbolic seat of his new empire, and the unrestored balance pillar as the base of his throne. In an act of calculated blasphemy, Cain raided the ancient tomb of the Seraphan, a fanatical order of warrior priests, once sworn to eradicate the vampires plaguing Nosgoth. From the desiccated corpses of these long dead knights, Cain raised his 6 vampiric sons to become the lieutenants of his fledgling empire. But the pillars, Cain ultimately realized, were more than just a human edifice. The health of the pillars was tied inextricably into the health of the land. With the pillars left unrestored, corruption seeps slowly into the land like a poison, turning his empire into an irredeemable wasteland. Rather than evolving slowly over time, vampires experience periods of accelerated metamorphosis, entering dormant states from which they emerge transformed. When Raziel, first among Kane's lieutenants, revealed his latest evolution, a pair of bat-like wings, Kane responded with an act of seemingly egotistical sadism. Tearing Raziel's newly fledged wings from his back, he ordered Raziel to be cast into the Lake of the Dead, where he would burn forever in the roiling abyss. Raziel tumbled endlessly into the murky depths, his flesh dissolving as he burned with white-hot fire. After an eternity of torment, Raziel's ruined body came to rest, and as the pain receded, he realized that he had not only survived the descent, but he had been delivered to the very seat of the underworld. Like Kane before him, Raziel was saved from the brink of oblivion by a mysterious benefactor. I'll probably read the rest of this later, considering that I think I've already read like 15 minutes of it. And we kind of recap the events of Soul Reaver 1 and Soul Reaver 2, so we don't kind of need it. But I'll take a look just because I want to see the drawings. I'm seeing a lot of the concept art for these characters, which they used before. So I kind of want to see if there's new things there. But yeah, let's start our new game. I'll probably play a bit later. A long time ago in a galaxy far away. But I wanted to get at least a recap from Blood Omen, because that is one game in the Legacy of Kain franchises who I did not actually play. I do not know, to be honest. We'll have to check later on, definitely for sure. They need kudos.
Given the choice, whether to rule a corrupt and failing empire, or to challenge the fates for another throw, a better throw against one's destiny, what was a king to do?
Correct. This is from Crystal Dynamics, which did do Tomb Raider.
But does one ever truly have a choice? One can only match, move by move,
the machinations of fate.
And thus defy
it's already
the tyrannous stars.
Now, they make up at the end of this game, that's for sure, in many ways. Although, to be fair, by the end of Soul Reaver 2, Kain is pretty much on Raziel's side, though Raziel might not feel the same. And yeah, start off Defiance not as Raziel, but as Kain. The old model and the new one, such a difference.
And so I returned to the sanctuary of my enemy, the fortress of the Sarafan Brotherhood, deemed impossible for any man to penetrate. Impossible for any man.
I'll probably go for like 30 more minutes or a good event point where I can stop. So we'll see. Maybe up to the start of Raziel's story.
Mobius, the time streamer, deceiver and eternal gamester, using living beings as his pawns.
In the end, we'd rooted out an entire nest of the fiends.
But we had swept that area already.
Kain? Remorse? Perish the thought.
We purged every last one of that brood with fire, and their souls now rest.
Lord Mobius will be pleased.
It was time for Mobius to answer a few questions.
I hoped for his sake to find him in a forthcoming mood.
So is it? It feels a bit... Yeah, it feels a bit weird, the audio. Let me just boost this up to 100%, because you could just barely hear anything there. I had to boost it manually with OBS. Should be okay now. And yeah, the big change with this remaster is that you now have complete camera control. This was not a thing in Defiance, right? It feels a bit fisheye to like distorted because of this. They had to make it to scale. Originally, I believe it was like this. Yeah, it was fixed camera angles, and you can't actually swap between the original way or the back way. But let me play like this for a bit and see how it feels. I feel like the camera is a bit closer than I'm comfortable with. And you can also, like before, shift between the older model and the newer textures and models. Okay, now it feels too loud. Blood hunger. Crystal's health gauge should drain slowly over time. Of course, yeah, he's a vampire after all. And yeah, this came out around the time when God of War and Devil May Cry and everything was getting so popular. So the developers actually decided that, hey, we're gonna have action combat in this too. Okay, it still sounds... Okay, I'm just gonna put everything to 100%. It sounds so weird at the moment, like... Okay. There's something about the audio that's really off. I don't even know how to explain it. And I think I might prefer how it was originally, because it kind of frames where you need to go. Okay, it's a very clear view of where you need to go. Nope. Please don't fall off, Kay. Excuse me. No. There we go. Oh, wait, I think I know what's happening. Give me a sec. I think there's a bit of an audio lag between my capture card. Let me change that real quick. You guys might see a bit of flicker. Or a bit of a freeze. And now the audio. It's probably gonna match. Go this way. Or I can go this way, which is locked. Though Kane dutifully attempts to knock the door down. Hey, never mind, both the doors are locked. Okay. Alright, even Kane can climb surfaces. The camera at the back, it's... I think I've heard that a lot of people who got the remaster kind of preferred this one, but I'll be honest, having played the game like this for so long, even I preferred this one at the moment. But I have to admit that once you get the hang of your combos and everything, it might be easier to have the camera from the back. Right now, it's a little too close, and you kind of feel the distortion at the edges as they try to scale this camera with the older backgrounds. It's nice that they give you the option though, right? You can immediately switch between the original modes and the camera modes as much as you want.
Help me! Help me!
time to time, it is necessary to feed. And the unusual event of a feast prepared by the Sarafan must be savored.
Yeah, a bit of blood omen right there. And like Soul Reaver 1, Defiance actually has collectibles, which you can miss. But I believe they made it easier to track these. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, you have the map. And a lot more of an explanation of his abilities too.
What was that? The touch of water is like acid to a vampire. I had to find another way to pass.
I did not play Warframe, but I did see its camera. And even I kind of felt the same. But from my understanding, people are like, once you get used to the speed of it, it doesn't really make much of a difference. Would be husks. Well, I'm not sure how much of a 40k reference they took, but I wouldn't be surprised if they took a few hints from that, right? Yeah, even I kind of prefer the camera to be a bit far away and not this Warframe look. You doubt that they took a reference from Warframe, but 40k? Not Warframe. I'm speaking specifically to Warhammer 40k, right? I feel like they might have, mainly because you have to remember that the Elder God is sort of like an entity that's beyond the fate and all. And it's kind of similar in that same sense. Maybe not as bleak as 40k, because with 40k everything is at its maximum extreme. What are you trying to show me, camera? Oh right, and that I can climb this wall. Yeah, this is gonna take me a while to get used to. I am very used to the other camera in Defiance. And your magic power up here. TK rune. Telekinesis rune. They're still using the abbreviations for this. Yep, might as well, I guess. Fill up on my health before we go into battle.
This passage undoubtedly led to the Time Streamer. My prey was nearly in my grasp. But the door...
Actually, yeah, I think this was for PS2. Definitely not a PS3 era game. Legacy of Kain. Defiance. I'm not even gonna find the older game now. I'm probably, but he had his PS2 model there, so yeah, it is a PS2 game. Like both Soul Reaver 2 and this was for the PS2.
Had been sealed by...
Because that's the era of Devil May Cry and God of War 2, right? And that God of War. So that makes sense, because they changed the combat to suit those.
A blessed barrier. As I approached, the Reaver resonated in response. Perhaps its dark sorcery could dispel these holy barriers. The Reaver was not yet powerful enough to shatter these barriers, but there was something to this.
Well, he's not doing a very good job of it, considering he just came into an archery ambush. But Kane has telekinesis abilities, and you can just very easily just throw those guys off. A good way to just... We have a map now? Excuse me? Kane skins. Fatalistic Emperor. Soul Reaver Kane. Yeah, I guess not too much of a different from his Soul Reaver model here. Imperialist. Whoa. We have his Blood Omen model here. I'll keep it at Fatalistic Emperor now. Good video game hack. Yeah, I suppose. Oh, they have an entire thing here. Murals. Oh, I guess we unlock those later. I wanted to see the local map, but apparently that's not a thing. Hold for local map. Okay. Oh wow, this is new too. You did not used to have what they took it. They did some effort here. If you ever get lost. Alright, you have to do Malik's a little bit of a side quest here where you have to find... Why are you asking me to gain health? I do not know what I just destroyed, but I got health from it. You have to bring the sword and shield to the statue of Malik here before you can go through. Oh, I got health from one of these. It's not visible, I guess. And I believe there are arrow traps around here. That much I remember. A little too late. I already moved. Now you can do the creep move too. Don't worry, we'll get our chance because we need to go back to the statue much later. And the courtyard.
Locked. What a love of doors these pathetic humans have.
The audacity of this man. Well, yeah, it is Cade, which is why it's funny. And if you'd been with me when we were reading that recap, you'd see that Kane initially wanted to go back to being human, but then over time, he sort of saw things from the perspective of Wardo, right? That vampires are a bit above humans. They sort of deserve to rule and all that. With our first emblem for the Reaver. First upgrade. I think this is called the Force Reaver.
Vampire!
Stop right there, criminal scum. Pay with your life. A little tutorial explaining the telekinesis. Kane's sword is called the Soul Reaver. The titular weapon is the Soul Reaver. And you're like, do I have an entry for that somewhere? But the Soul Reaver itself has various upgrades. Right now we have the Balance emblem, and I think we'll be picking up the Force emblem like momentarily. The world of Nosgoth. Now, there's a lot of stuff to check, actually. Interesting choice of music. Sound effects, though, I mean, for the menu. I feel like a lot of people would actually get a bit annoyed with all this. Correct. I believe this sword was originally like he came in possession of it when he fought William the Just, or the Tyrant. Oh, I guess William the Just. He's given it in the original Blood Omen. It's optional, right? You don't have to get it, but according to how the story's been canonized, Mobius sort of leads him into getting the Soul Reaver, because you kind of need two Soul Reavers at the same time, like the same soul at the same point to create the paradox, which is how Mobius tricks Cain into going back into the past and killing William the Just as a young king, sort of giving the human race the justification to genocide against all the vampires, right? As Mobius planned. And he's had the weapon ever since, because he recognizes how important the weapon is. But he isn't fully aware that Raziel is sort of the soul that's inhabiting the Soul Reaver, but not this Soul Reaver. Because depending on where you are in the timeline, you are either dealing with the Soul Reaver that has Raziel's soul trapped inside, or you're dealing with the Reaver that's before that. A bit convoluted, I know.
This emblem was unmistakably of vampire origin and designed to enhance the Reaver's power. But this coincidence seemed too convenient. Mobius clearly meant for me to find it.
Sound the alarm! Vampire! Don't let him escape! Surround him! Surrender, fiend, and we will promise you an easy death.
I could promise you the same, but it would
be a lie. I'm always... Cain has such... interesting lines right there. Imagine the full might of the human race instead of being bound by arbitrary lines on a map and beliefs that cause division. Yeah, I don't know, even with Mobius's... Well, I know you're referring to the world in general, but in the case of Nosgoth here, even with Mobius's attempts to unify the human race against one enemy, there are a lot of factions inside the humans itself, right? Because you do sort of remember that they are human hunters who've sided with the vampires as well, and hunters who are friendly with Raziel and hunters who are not friendly with Raziel. We'll see that more here too. Oh right, I have to hold down to feed. I was gonna replenish my health, but then I completely forgot. I just threw him across the room. There's a weird part of my memory that remembers jumping from across up there to the other side. But we'll be in this castle for quite a bit, so yeah. Or do we? Oh, right. Now with the Force Rune, we can open this up.
Had a curious resonating effect on the Reaver.
Zoom look? Oh, you mean this? Like the zoomed out look here. Is that what you mean? Oh, this. I can actually hit the target from a distance. There's something up there. Like, I have a very vague memory of getting up there to get that thing. Yeah, the first person aim is because Kane actually has telepathic powers, right? And because of that, I can kind of take a look around. The funny thing is, he can turn into a bat and fly, but not in gameplay. Avoid the arrow traps. Ow. And you might recognize this particular room.
Get him!
He's not been the most subtle of people, that's for sure.
This door had been equipped with a singular lock, requiring an unusual key. Somehow, I would find it.
And yeah, this is a thing ever since Soul Reaver 2, right? The characters would point out gameplay hints a lot. In Soul Reaver 1, they were a lot more subtle, right? They would not really bother pointing it out. They kind of relied on the character's intelligence to point it out, to figure it out, not point it out. But yes, you might recognize this room as the same room where Raziel fought the Sarafan Raziel. Press R2. Yeah, something along those lines is basically find the emblem for this place, like a hawk emblem, in order to open up the route. But I believe this might actually be the end of this sequence slightly, because we will be meeting with Mobius in a second. Funny thing is, it's weirdly appropriate for Kane, right? And can you imagine Kane just opening a door in any way? Kind of realizing that the camera perspective actually allows you to see secrets a lot easier. Like if with this original camera, you would actually just have to manually just run over here and get it. It's creeping around early. To be fair, he wasn't doing a very good job of it. King, please. Oh, right. The training dummy. This is the game's tutorial. As long as it's a grilled gate of swords, Kane doesn't really care. He's just gonna go through it. Oh yeah, I forgot about the slam. And there should be one more attack where you can attack very rapidly. They tried very hard to emulate the combat in Devil May Cry and God of War and everything, and I don't quite feel they reached that point. It is fun when you unlock a lot more stuff, but just not on the same level as Devil May Cry, right? Yep, that is precisely where the air jackals are from. Because those games were getting very popular at the time. So, bit of an odd moment where the game just takes a moment to explain all of Kane's abilities to you. Starting abilities, anyway. Just kicks it open. Oh, I'm taking blood from both of them. That is brutal. Yeah, he has no respect for anything. Machinery, doors. Yeah, we're back at that particular area as well. Right, you want to get this guy first. Received cadaverous lacerations. Vampires with AIDS. If only. The only person that Kane, insofar as story-wise remotely cared for, was a character called Uma in Blood Omen 2. And Uma has the right idea to betray him right at the end. And I don't think Kane had any interest at all about that later. Actually, cadaverous laceration. I think this is towards the enemy, and I believe this is the one where he just does a flurry of attacks. That one move is a move that you'll be using constantly. And yeah, now we're back in this little courtyard here. You get a much better angle from the other camera perspective. It's very nice too compared to the older graphics. They did a lot better of a job than Soul Reaver 2 Remastered, right? With Soul Reaver 2 Remastered, the environments didn't really get much of an upgrade. But here, the Defiance Remaster is doing a great job. And yeah, you're kind of looking at the statue of Malek here. And while we're not dealing with this right now, we will be coming back later to restore Malek's sword and shield. And Cain will be like, I don't really want to do this, but I kind of got to in order to proceed. Oh, wait, wrong door. We need to go back to that little area with the balance emblem where Mobius is waiting for us. It makes you think that vampires who actually drink blood from an infected person, would they actually get the disease as well? Like when you transfer blood, it's always, you would never transfer a sick person's blood, right? And yeah, let's go meet with Mobius and do a bit with Raziel. Yeah, this camera angle though. I can't deny, well, right, you guys, I hate these arrow traps. They are weirdly accurate. I wonder if this camera angle is also sort of a test for Crystal Dynamics. They're like, if we're gonna make a new game, do we want to do it with fixed camera angles like before? Or do we want to do it with the free-forming camera at the back? Which would players prefer? It gives the game a completely different vibe, having the camera control. Feels like an entirely new game, to be honest. Oh, I remember this particular area. I had a lot of trouble doing this on the PC version, on controller. Because you couldn't quite see where you're going. Or jumping for that matter. Oh, yeah, I'm still having that trouble. Cain immediately died. The game even knows you're gonna have trouble because they have put a checkpoint right there. Just bring the entire cavern down on his way to Mobius. There we go.
Yes. will be done. The stage is set.
Oh my god. Mobius looks so different.
You needn't linger in the shadows, Cain. It has been a long time, hasn't it?
No banter, Mobius. You know why I'm here.
Yes, Raziel. You sought to introduce your own pawn into this game, and now he's been swept from the board.
By your hand, I suspect. Where is he?
Perhaps you should ask, when?
When?
How
And a
humiliating
little laugh at the end.
you to come begging at my doorstep for answers.
Enough wordplay.
Don't threaten me. You see, I have the upper hand. How remarkable that the great Cain should succumb to the scepter's power like any
common vampire.
Still so arrogant after all these years, thinking you've devised some brilliant plan. You know nothing. You have read the signs, but missed their meaning. You believe you are that myth of vampire prophecy, the scion of balance, and that Raziel holds the key to fulfilling your destiny. But your messianic delusions have blinded you to Raziel's true nature. You have no idea what you've unleashed. There was a time when you might have heeded wise counsel when it was offered. Now, your vanity has made you witless. You will have to learn the truth for yourself. You'll be needing this. Your strength will return after I have departed. But by then, you will have more urgent concerns than pursuing me. Perhaps, when we next meet, you will have learned a little humility.
These strange creatures seem to manifest from the very shadows. Mobius's attempt at stopping me was not one of his better efforts. When I found him, it would be my turn to offer a few surprises.
And the funny thing about this whole thing is Mobius is so fatalistic that there's a certain time and place for everything as a time guardian. He never bothers to kill Cain because he knows there's a certain point where he can only do it right as a time guardian and all. So even though he has Cain at his mercy, he just is like, you can't do anything, I'm just gonna walk away. And now we shift to Raziel, who's been trapped in the underworld ever since Soul Reaver 2.
Surrender, Raziel. Abandon this petty
Oh
rebellion.
wow, the Elder God looks so good.
I who made you. Your life
The life had played out.
and in my grace, I spared you. You are my reaper of souls. You have no other purpose, no higher destiny. Just this. Accept your calling, Raziel. Let go of these vain hopes. Relinquish your will and feed.
No.
What do you profit from this defiance?
They said it, they said the word.
Satisfaction in infuriating you.
My patience is eternal, Raziel. How many eons can you bear to languish here? The wheel of fate must turn. All are redeemed in the cleansing agony of birth, death, and rebirth. This is the engine of life, the
Purifying rhythm of the universe to which all souls are irresistibly drawn.
Yours is a necessary and noble function, Raziel.
Enough of your sermonizing. Are you trying to bore me into submission?
He's so cheeky even when he's on the
Go on.
bad foot.
We both know what you are. You are no better than the vampires you so despise. A voracious parasite, cloaking its appetite in a shroud of righteousness. I refuse to do your will.
I can see into your heart, Raziel. It is not your will, but cowardice that keeps you here.
How so?
You know what fate awaits you when you leave the underworld. That phantom weapon you bear is a constant reminder, isn't it? The sword is waiting for you out there somewhere, and you tarry so as not to meet it.
I could not deny it. As long as I lingered here, defying my captor, I was able to postpone what I feared was my inevitable doom. To become the ravenous spirit imprisoned in the Reaver blade. But that sentence was no worse than the stalemate I now endured. Better to face one's destiny than cower from it.
Harvester of souls, I created you. And to this function, my angel of death, you will return.
Enough.
Enough.
Yes.
Yes.
I submit.
Very good. Indulge your hunger. Yes, embrace your calling, Raziel. You will find that just as defiance has its price, so obedience has its rewards.
And submission is not always what it seems.
Yeah, the underworld sections look even weirder in this perspective. And the Elder God is not so ready to let Raziel go, though. He'll test him a bit more before we can escape from the underworld. Yeah, it's a very different feeling.
Swirled an ominous-looking mist. I knew that if I fell, it would mean my peril.
Having this perspective actually makes it easier for you to judge the distance too. Can I fly over there? Yeah, that's probably where I'm meant to go, right? You can very faintly hear people calling Raziel's name.
Your worthiness is so easily proved. Your way is sealed until you have offered further evidence of your obedience.
I must feed you before I depart this place.
You must feed yourself, Raziel.
The wheel must turn.
Ah, now you understand.
You know, I might just change the feeding to circle. Because that was what we've been doing all this time. And telekinesis to R1, because that feels a lot better, to be honest. Yeah, it's definitely easier to navigate with the new camera. The difficulty with the older camera was that you kind of had very little idea of where you were going, more or less. Or rather, you had trouble figuring out the distance you were jumping for. And it's extremely kind of them to allow the player character to decide when and where they want to use it.
You may go, but remember, you are
mine.
You can no more escape from me than you can escape yourself.
We still need to do more of his bidding before we can leave.
You want this room cleared of its vermin?
If you wish to leave it,
Your will be done.
my good servant. You see? Obedience brings prompt rewards.
And after this, I believe, is the little escape sequence. Yeah, this is the escape sequence, I believe. Or is there one more test by the Elder God?
Where do you think you're going, little soul?
Oh yeah, this is the escape sequence.
You can't escape. Raziel.
Oh god, I fell.
Clever, Raziel. Clever indeed. I have endured your game long enough.
Clearly my escape had not been anticipated, or my benevolent master would not have expended such efforts to prevent me from going.
And if my departure displeased him, then that was a victory, however small, for me. In the spectral realm, water is as thin as air, putting this opening far beyond my reach. But once I found my way into the physical world, I might be able to swim up there. This door would only open when fitted with an appropriate artifact. But to use such an object, I would first have to find a way back into the material realm. At last, I
Unfortunately, we
discovered
could
a
not
conduit
use
to
this.
the material realm. I would finally escape the spirit world and take one step farther from my tormentor.
Did you think to receive the same favors after your rebellion as before? No, Raziel. I have no need for you to enter the physical world, so no conduit will be granted. You serve me adequately as a wraith, and a wraith you will remain.
So, my restraints had not been removed, only loosened. I would not be held prisoner in the spectral realm. There had to be another way. As I emerged, I was granted a vision of what I would become if I did not escape the spectral realm. For these too were agents of my master, hunting the lost souls that struggled to escape the endless twilight of the underworld. Master's plan for me was ominously clear. Like these mindless hunters, I existed only to fuel him with souls, siphoning their energy to feed him and his wheel of fate. I had to break these bonds, while I still possessed my own will.
This artifact seemed as though it was made for that unusual lock. Now the door could be opened.
Well, in any case, we played through a bit of Kane's story, we played through a bit of Raziel's story. I'm gonna actually stop here for the day. It's already past midnight on my end, and there's only so long I can go without getting enough sleep for work tomorrow. But yeah, we finally started Defiance, and I'll probably complete this in a few days' time. If anyone's watching, take care and good night. I am going to call it for the day. Stay safe out there.